a driver coming out, like you got the heads, like now you got to go test with this
Yeah.
guy. What does it look like to get him get him ready for the next year with a driver?
Yeah, I mean, so it's options, right? We're gonna have options. We're probably gonna have, for us, it'll probably be like 3 different models. Um, for John in particular, it's gonna be I'm gonna look at him and say, "This is it."
Right.
Right? I'm not gonna go with the other 2 options. I'm not gonna bring him with me. He's gonna be like, "What the hell is this? What do you think I'm that bad at golf that I need to hit this thing?"
All right, fully equipped, episode 296, and we are back by popular demand with Mr. Kellen J. Watson from Callaway Tour Truck, back on the Fully Equipped podcast. Kel, uh,
Popular demand, huh?
the request, after your maiden voyage into a Johnny Wunder podcast, I got a lot of DMs about like that. You guy's very smart. He really knows his stuff. You should bring him back on. And here we are. First of all, the weird thing about this is we're in the same hotel. What room are you in, by the way? Are you on the
Don't
third
worry
floor?
about it.
Are you
Don't
are you third
worry
floor?
about it. I'm listen, I am not on the 3rd floor. I'll give you that much
Okay.
information, but, yeah, I don't want any room charges, for all those,
Well, okay. There
nacho
goes.
cheese Doritos and maybe a Pepsi Zero sugar.
Well, the life waters down the lobby are fast and furious in this room, so I think they get about $9 a bottle. Anyway, welcome back to the show. So we're at the Wyndham Championship. This is a really quick. Let's talk about this golf course really quick. Never been here myself. This is a serious golf course.
Amazing golf course. Donald
So
Ross golf course.
Donald Ross design. So we were. I was just on Rocco's Sirius radio show. And we were talking about how brutal a test is if you're playing for your, like, if you're 70 to 80 in the FedEx Cup points and you got to come here, tight Bermuda, Donald Ross greens, rough thick. This is not the kind of golf course like, because you gotta have your shit together out here. I mean, you can't like fake it around here. Is that
No, and I think we went over it. I think, Adam Hadwin was in the trailer before, and obviously he's kinda on the outside looking in right now.
right?
And kind of the whole thing that kind of brought up, like, would you rather be, 82 or 70? You know?
Oof.
I mean, if you're 70, right, you are that it's already on your back, right?
Oh my God.
Last Sunday night, the bullseye's on your back right away. So I feel like it would probably be the same thing. Like some people feel a little bit more comfortable chasing rather than being chased.
Right.
I think that might be the scenario here. And then another little snippet from the one and only Bryce Garnett, one of my favorite people in the world. So, 2 of my favorite people in the world give me a little snippet here.
Two snippets.
Um, uh, he's telling me that this is only the 4th course or the one of the 4 courses on the schedule that is all Bermuda.
What?
Yes, most of the other stuff is overseeded.
What are the other three?
Uh,
Did he name them?
yes, and
Is East Lake?
Honolulu. Honolulu
Okay.
was one.
Yeah.
No, I think East Lake, the rough is overseeded.
The fairways are Bermuda. I know that.
Maybe. I think most of the other ones are just overseeded, but I think it's Honolulu and here and 2 other ones that obviously I cannot remember. Maybe Puerto Rico, which would be
Okay.
obviously a concurrent event, but yeah, I mean, gone are the days of kind of like your traditional just Bermuda golf courses.
So explain. So I know the answer to this, but in regards to players' equipment, especially around the greens, I went and walked with Nico and Rasmus today,
Mm.
and chipping around the greens obviously is a thing, right? So do you, as a fitter out on tour, do you see guys, leaning towards, like, if we're gonna take Xander as our case study here, he's always travels with 3 different wedges.
Yeah.
Is this a kind of environment where he would go from like his little tee grind to something? How does that work?
No, no, I think it's more, process and mechanics more than it is
The
equipment and
wedge.
stuff like, yeah, just how you play it, more toe up shots or toe down shots. Sorry,
Right.
not exposing the heel to any of the turf that's there, especially. I mean, obviously, probably the grain is brushed right back into your face on
Yes,
most of
it
these.
is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, no, I don't think there's not. I mean, and it's relatively. Um, I think it's relatively one of the softer courses too. If they could ever
Yeah,
get
as
this
far as the
place
ground,
where,
yeah. Yeah, that's
yeah,
fair.
if they could ever get this place where it's like really firm, really fast, I don't think this course
I don't think it's as playable
playable. No.
because there's some spots like on the front nine where there's rough that if there wasn't rough, it would actually play more challenging if there was runoffs, right? Like if there was, especially
Yeah,
around the greens, because the way that they do it is the front and the backs of the greens are always kind of shaved down and maybe some left to right, but sometimes there's rough to stop it. But if they shave this place down, it's a whole nother ball game.
I
So
think it might be. I mean, be in consider. It would be in consideration for kind of a major tournament if this place could play you know as hard as possible.
right,
Um,
right.
but then you look at it, and I got the averages today too, because it's like I think the average made cut is like 3 under, but
Okay.
then I think the average winning score is somewhere between 15 and 18, 15 and 18 under.
Okay.
So it's like I'm not understanding that this disparity between those two numbers is a little bit odd, but
Right.
like there's a lot of these par fives that are. I mean, what are they? Some of these guys are not hitting more than 6 iron into some of these.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
on two or three, what hole is it? Was it five? I forget what hole it was. The first par five, I think Rasmus absolutely hammered one. I think he had 7 iron in, 7 or 8
yeah,
iron in, or something like that. I mean, it was, it's 530 yards, which to these guys is just a long par four.
yeah,
Um, okay, I want to talk about some equipment stuff here. So, TaylorMade's launching wedges this week. It's obviously that type of the time of the year where a lot of the, we'll call it the B products, start to come out. The wedges, some iron launches. It's not like the big driver platforms. It's none of that stuff. But as it relates to like Callaway, I know the process because I've been around it enough. But I want you to explain it. So when you are introducing wedges on tour, right? Like you're going to bring on a whole new crop. So there's obviously your first line of the prototype wedges that you get in certain hands. But like on a normal week, like they're launching the actual product to tour this week. What's that like? Walk everybody through like what your job would be, kind of what you need to do, because it's a pretty big throw. If you ask me, the wedge thing is
yeah.
a
I
is a
mean,
challenge.
yeah, it's a lot of it's more administration than it is kind of physical labor. It's more um, trying to get all your staffers at some point during the week. So it's setting up schedules rather
Right.
than it is kind of, here, I need you to hit some of these. It's almost, but I mean, when it comes to it, especially if it's something, you know, com- completely kind of void from what we have had,
Right.
then I mean, it's more substantive. It's very in depth.
Right.
So I mean, the challenging thing is scheduling, having enough time to work with these guys on site. Um, and I mean, it's kind of a tricky one too, is doing something like this week, not kind of the best week unless, I mean, there's a factor in this new wedge that would help, the majority of
On
your staffers.
on Bermuda. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, something like that. It's
I've
just like
always
it's a tricky week to do things here because this is like, I mean, not to steal like the PGA Championship logo from years past, but this is kind of like Glory's last shot,
right.
the
Yeah, yeah.
Glory's last chance or whatever it was called. So this is a tough one to do it at because you got guys that are creeping around that 70 number, guys creeping around that 100 number. Um, but it's like a culmination of a lot of things that comes together this week, and they really need to set aside plenty of time to where Obviously you're introducing maybe the 52 to them, which is, most of the time it's just a range club. So you're fine with
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And then you have to get more in depth with, the short game area. Thank goodness that this place has a really good short game area because you have a lot of room and you have a lot of greens, you have a lot of targets, and then the bunkering on it as well is great. So it's, I mean, you get to the 56 and you might be doing some, short chipping stuff. You might be doing some, little bit longer wedge shots, and then you might be doing some long bunker shots. So I mean, you're eating up. I mean, on average, probably a good hour of their
90
time.
minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's just for some people. It's not. It's too tough to do it.
Do
You
you
know.
do you think though, like just in tailor made sense, like bringing them out this week, like I actually don't hate the idea because if the wedge is bad, for example, it'll expose itself here quickly, right? If it's not right, you get around Bermuda.
Yeah.
Like if it's wrong, you're gonna figure it out pretty fast because you
Right.
get them on bent, and I feel like every single one of these players can make anything work on bent grass.
Right. Right.
It's when you get into this crap, the Bermuda and the Kikuyu and all that stuff is where a wedge is like, if it's wrong, it's gonna be really wrong. It's gonna be really wrong fast.
Yeah, but I
So
mean, you're not gonna bring a final. I mean, they're all branded product too. So,
sure,
if you're not gonna bring a final product and know that it's not gonna be. I mean, there could be, if you have a bevy of bounces and options worth of souls and grinds, then obviously it's going to do its job no matter what. That's going to be versatile. But
mm-hmm.
I mean, I just don't think like the timing of it. They probably have had this in the hopper for a while now, and they probably had it last week. They probably had it the week before, and this just might be a follow up, kind of a second introduction to it to some of the guys they might not have seen in a little while.
Sure,
But yeah, it's. I mean, you're looking at the wedges. Obviously, if you're looking at like a driver, if a new driver comes out, that's just one golf club.
right.
Now,
Wedge is the
obviously,
whole thing.
yeah, and there's different shots to take with it. There's different conditions to deal with. So, driver 3 wood, introductions to that, you still need the energy and the time for that person, and you also need the time to make any changes if need be.
Right,
But then wedges, I mean, that's a totally different. Like if you needed to grind something to match whatever the consultation calls for, um, usually you're going to go ahead and just build a whole new wedge. So I mean,
right.
you're continuously, you know, changing and analyzing, and you're taking a really deep dive into, the scoring clubs in the bag, which are very important. So.
H- Kel, how much? I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but wedge launch to wedge launch. If you're gonna go from MD5, and then you're gonna go to Jaws Raw, and then you go to Opus, those are three distinct, I guess, different ideas, right? MD5 to Jaws Raw was completely different shit. Everything was, they did a whole bunch of stuff to that wedge, and then you go into Opus, which is kind of like a kind of bringing it level setting the playing field again back to more of a normal wedge. But as far as wedge performance is concerned, like what are the markers that you're looking for? Like if you're testing wedges with men on the range and you got a 52 and just you got a set of wedges 52, like what improvements can you find in wedge performance? I mean, it's because to me, like the dispersion's always gonna be pretty tight, spin's always gonna be in a real, and you're also going older wedge to a brand new wedge. So
Mhm.
it's not like you're making replicas of his current gamer that are brand new and comparing it to, you know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
test is a little skewed because the numbers are. So how do you do that? How do you reconcile
It's,
that?
I mean, there's really, I mean, it's a tricky question, but in a way, it's a very simple answer. Um, I feel like like I said before, the 52 and probably the 56 are probably the first things that actually, if it's a good look, if the flight is correct, usually it's just a no brainer. Let's put it
Right,
in there. I like the
right,
way that this 52 looks. It flies the same distance as the one I have right now or the previous model. Spins the same, launches the same, windows the same. Boom, in.
In, right, yeah.
That could be like a 2-shot, 3-shot medley, and you're good to go.
Okay.
56 probably be about the same thing, and the better players that just love the look of it and like it, they'll hit those little short kind of half shots with it on the range. Don't need to
Right.
be near any greens or anything.
Right.
And if it comes out the right window, spins the same. It's like those are the two. Those would be the two easiest ones to get, straight away.
And those ones you're more or less just trying to to just keep it stasis. You're not looking for, you're not going to get a lot of performance because no one's looking to hit it further. And most of these guys don't need
No,
to hit it. They're not trying to spin it anymore, right? Like
there's
it's
there's probably not going to be a full shot with either of them.
right, right,
So it's that Lee Trevino. Show me a guy that hits full shots with his wedges, and I'll show you a guy that's going to be broke at the end of the day.
right,
So it's like there's really not much. There's not as much involved in it than it would be kind of that's 60 degree.
right,
Um, but obviously, in some people's situations, take like Henrik Stenson for example, it's like a 52 and a 58, and that's it.
right. It's
So
easy.
like the 52 is just it's the placeholder after the pitching wedge,
Right.
and then the 58 is literally like a Swiss Army knife. It's 105 yards and in, and everything around the greens or in that area is that 58 degree. So in his case, yeah, that would probably be a less in-depth kind of test to it, but it would still involve multiple areas of any practice range that you'd have, be it at home at Lake Nona or on a PGA Tour, Live Tour kind of practice area. And
Gotcha.
that's kind of one of the things too is like you're not going to see too many performance changes in between like old and new unless um, there's something obviously switched with it, right? If there's like a huge switch to it. So like the Opus wedge, for example, we're seeing a little bit lower ball flight on the 60s and the 58s and the 56s, and those are going up in spin, which is something that
That's
we've always wanted to have,
right.
and then coupling that with the look of what it's at, I think the players tend to prefer to go towards that, just the aesthetic of it, but then couple that with the performance of a little bit lower launch, a little bit more spin, more versatile around the greens, the grinds being a little bit more versatile. It usually is more about that inside 20, 30 yards rather than it is hitting the range. So it's a intense process to get kind of a whole set of wedges in, but the intensity only comes with probably one of them,
One
you
one
know?
wedge, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So
I have a
it's
so the other thing I always think about too when it comes to wedges is probably easier to get, I guess, to identify performance around like a lob wedge if a player's struggling and you're handing him a new answer, right? Like if he's, say for example, if he's in Opus C and it's getting diggy or it's just doing something, and then
mhm.
all of a sudden you hand him an S grind or something like that, and then obviously that you start to get the snap of the fingers and everything starts to start clicking again. Like those are the for you out on tour, that would be a level of performance that you can see and you can kind of go like, no, this is legitimately better than what you have because I always notice on tour because they're all pretty good chippers of the golf ball with anything that you give them, they'll figure it out. But it's almost like if I take Sam Burns for example, um, I've seen him struggle chipping. Like we know he's hitting 5 shots in the same spot and they're all different. He's trying to hit the same shot 5 times in a row, and he hits five different shots, which is a technique thing. But I've seen you guys. I've seen Dino hand him wedges when they were testing wedges, and all of a sudden he gives him something that's a slightly different grind or whatever. Then all of a sudden the ball starts looking the same.
Mhm.
Those are the kind of the markers for you guys out on tour, as far as performance is concerned, that you can see when you're working with a player. It's more or less consistency of the ball flight, sound of the strike. Is that kind of what you're looking for? Because you can't really put them on TrackMan. I mean, and you're not using that as a metric for performance. You're like,
No, but yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell,
right,
right? It usually comes down to grinds too. And I did this not too long ago at John Deere with somebody. I don't remember which one it was, but it was like kind of teetering between kind of a 60S which is kind of the stock grind, maybe a little bit more heel relief, just kind of ground in there, and
Right.
then kind of the C grind, which is typically has a little less bounce. But you could tell just on flight and how they hit, kind of those three kind of windows. So
Right.
obviously you're going to have that low pitch that's going to check on maybe the third or fourth bounce and then kind of stop and trickle out. And then you got kind of the mid one that they all use all the time. And then you have the soft one. And
Right.
so I can't remember what player it was, but I mean, you could just tell like he had the C grind and it did everything that he was asking it to do, but there was kind of a momentum shift in the swing to manipulate the ball to do something, right? So it was
Right.
kind of a slower, more languid kind of a swing to make sure that we're getting the spin, getting the contact, and then I hand him like the S grind, which is probably 4 to 5 degrees more of bounce, and he's become more aggressive into the ball, knowing that it's not going to dig or
Right.
knowing that it's going to come out of the turf real quick, and the flights were better, the consistency were better, the even where he was landing the ball on the green on the short ones or on the low ones and the medium height ones, it was just much easier.
So that's
So
when
it
it
was like
becomes a
a
no that's when it becomes a no-brainer. Like when you're like, no, this
yeah,
is the answer is here. I guess what I was
yeah,
kind of asking is like, when is the because a lot of the times the answers are murky, it's a weird gray area, but
right,
sometimes for you, it's like, no, this is a no-brainer. It's like
yeah.
this is okay.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
just like what you said. It's just sitting there. One of the things you're watching is obviously the first few shots are going to be kind of a warm up to what you've given them,
right.
um, and then you can see the aggressiveness of how he's chipping, what kind of swing he's putting on it to create such and such flight and such shot. And then you're just listening, essentially. You're just listening for contact. And then you're looking at the pattern because once we move back to like that 20 to 30 yard, you can kind of see kind of the low ones are going to have a touch of a divot.
Right.
And like I think in this case, the C grind, obviously the divot was a little bit larger and then the a little bit more bounce to it. It was just coming in and out of the ground so much quicker,
Right.
and he could be more aggressive through the hit, creating obviously a little bit more spin. And he could land it in different spots, which might not have been accessible with the other club. So it's like
Hmm.
I don't know
That's
if it's a
interesting.
learned technique or I don't know if anybody could just do it, but I mean I've seen enough of it where you can. I mean, just visible to me, like okay, this
Yeah.
needs to change right away.
Right. Okay, we're gonna shift topics here a little bit. So you guys have been busy, especially you, with this new iron. I know we can't really talk too much about what the inside of this thing, but the Apex MB prototype that are going everywhere.
Hmm.
Um, so as much as you can, explain to me, just explain to me your thoughts on that iron and why it's working so well so far. I mean, what is it about that iron that is it what is it?
It's just I mean, it's just like a shiny, sleek, just beautiful looking iron,
Yeah.
right? Once it's one of those things that you look at and you're like, well, I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to hit this, right? And then you get it in your hands and you actually hit it and you're like, wow, all right, this
Yeah,
is a
I could
little
do
bit
this.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, when Dean came to me and he's like, "Do you have a set of these yet?" And I was like, "No, I'll talk to our guy in R&D. He'll send me a set. I'll build a set." He's like, "You got to get it right away." And I'm like, "Dean, you're Dean." And I'm not going to mention his age, but he's a little bit older.
He's
He's like,
older, yeah.
he goes, "I still got the 4 iron in the bag." I go, "From this set?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "It launches perfect, spins great, and I mean, it's probably the most forgiving blade that we've ever had." I don't know if he even put it in the category of a blade because of how how good it is, either out of the heel or out of the toe or the high or the low, So it's God, is it nice?
But don't you because I'm gonna ask you kind of a tough question, and you're gonna just have to answer it because it's me and you're gonna answer the question.
Sure.
So if we're gonna go down the line of Callaway blades, okay? And I need you to be honest here because I have my opinions and I'll answer for myself too. So, like, if we're going to start at, I think 2016 was the, what was the MB in the 2006? I never, so we'll start 2018. It's easy enough. So 2018 to me was, that was a great blade. Had bounce, good CG placement, good shape. Like, what were
Well,
your
shit,
thoughts on 18?
let's go back now because I'm thinking I started with them in 2013.
Okay, so you had the 14 blade.
The 14 Blaze, well, it wasn't there just yet. So we had X Forged 13 and X Forged 11,
Yep.
but I don't know what blade did we have?
I'm looking it up right now. Hold on.
Oh, we had the Apex MB Proto
Yes.
with the kind of the X badging in the back.
Yes. Good iron.
Oh, beautiful iron.
Beautiful iron.
And that's why
Yep.
we had the two varieties of groove configurations for our guys.
Yes, you had the spin
Uh,
grooves and you had you had
we
the
had
with the
the
16 and the 12 or the 16 and the, what was it?
it was that we wide spaced and narrow. That's how I remember ordering them for the trailer when I had to do inventory stuff. It was either wide space or it was narrow.
Okay.
So it was like a Colsart, Scary Woodland at that time.
Yeah,
These were
Patrick
like,
Reed.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So those were nice too.
That
Those
was
were
a great
really
blade.
nice. That
So
was
then,
a
okay,
really good blade.
so that was a good one. Then you go to 2018, which is like Svenny's blade. EVR played him for a long time. And
Beautiful.
a beautiful play. And because that blade had some bounce in it, it had, leading edge relief, wasn't a sharp leading
Hmm.
edge, had a little bit of relief on the back edge, great CG placement. Everything about that blade kind of worked. So then you go to the 2021 Apex MB. I did not like it. I thought it was too diggy. What did you think about that blade? Did you think they overshot? Do you think you overshot the mark on that one or no?
I don't know. No, I mean, there's still people that play it too, and I mean, they play it well. Obviously, I don't think it fit like the majority of the players, um, but it fit most people.
Okay, so you
I
didn't have
mean,
any
that's
trouble with
really
that one on tour, like getting people into that
no,
blade? No.
no, but at the same time, it goes back to where the 2018 was so good,
Right.
right? So I mean, you're 3 years later ish, yeah, I guess. In our case, it probably would have been like 2 years just for the guys that we have and that we could give it to.
Right.
So it's like I don't know. It's like I mean, if we still have sets of the old ones, why are we going to change a guy? I mean, they're going to hit it. Obviously, if it's no better, then there's no reason to. I mean,
Change. Yeah.
if it's no better or if it's essentially the same in terms of performance, then uh, I mean, you're really not gaining, right? You're kind of just you're just moving across the board.
Right. So then you go to the 23, which I thought, and I'll say it right now, was one. It was too close, in my opinion, to the 21, but they really didn't put any bounce on this thing. The leading edge was very, very sharp. And this is after a lot of the tour guys were still kind of begging for a blade with bounce. And then we come out with this one, or Callaway does. I'm not there. I don't work there anymore. Like, what were your thoughts? Like, what do you think the challenges were with the 2023? Because this new one coming out is going to kill, right? Like, we already established that this new one coming out is going to make everybody happy. So when you get to 2023 MB, did you have, like, what were your thoughts when you first saw it, and then what's been your experience with it since it's launched, two years ago?
Just different.
Yeah.
It's different. I mean, and it goes for the same thing as like the 21. It's just like it's not for everybody, right?
Right.
It's a little bit like you said, a little bit straighter leading edge, a little bit sharper. The blade length was a little bit longer
Mm-hmm.
than the 21, or going back to like 18, and even further back than that is just a little bit longer. So there was there's kind of a collaboration between kind of a lot of it and then some feedback to kind of go into it. But still, you got probably in play this year.
Four
There's
or five
probably
sets.
4 or 5 sets still of
Yeah.
that, right? So, I mean, it's when it comes to like blade irons, though, you have to like, and we're not back in the days of like MP 14,
14s
MP
and
23, and
29s.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that where it's just kind of it's either that or you go play the cavity back. I mean, those are the two options. I mean, the
Right.
options are kind of limitless at this point, especially when we keep product and kind of hoard product to a point where we know our guys are going to play essentially a little bit older product. Um, but this new one, and if it wasn't for a certain individual that used to be on staff, then obviously we wouldn't have had those Mura blades as well. So
Right.
that was kind of you kind of had your options, right? You had the pick and choose.
Yeah.
So
You had 18, 21, 23 in those Miras. Like you had four
yeah,
different
so you
ways
had, I
to
mean,
go. Yeah.
so you had Minwoo and kind of the Mira ones. You had Dietrich in the Mira ones, and then you have Celinda in the 21s. So you have um,
Well, Harry
like
Hall's in the
yeah,
23s.
yeah.
Yeah.
Harry Hall was in that, and then or 23, 24s. Badging is weird.
Right.
Um, Kirk was in the
Hmm.
24s. Taylor Gooch still in the 21s,
Right.
right? And it's kind of a combo set with him with the X Forge CBs and the long irons. But I just talked to him today. We're going to order some new stuff because obviously the best ability is availability, and some of that stuff we're just running out of, right?
Right.
Um, but I think I mean, anything that you design, right? Anything you do in life, you can take it outside of golf too. But I mean, your best accomplishments are going to come after, some of your worst failures, right?
Sure. Sure.
So, I mean, if you can learn something and I'm not calling all those blades failures. I just like, it's a very niche product. Um, there's very few people that are going to actually play the blade, or even some of these guys out here will have, the gusto to actually play a blade.
Right.
Um, so like when you're kind of picking and choosing, you're picking a couple things from this one, a couple things from this one, a couple things from this one, and putting that all together. I think that's where you're going to get some of your best product.
Do you think there's a world where, because like you said, this blade's pretty forgiving, right? And the
Mm.
amount of I guess the amount of people that are like willing to hit it, you have some CB players that are like, I want to try those. Like, you have your Siwoo Kim who hop sets like, like he's the
Like Frogger.
equal opportunity lender. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he says whatever.
Yeah.
But
You just,
do you think that this is a set? And I was really thinking about this after the first time I saw him. That some of your TCB players, some of your guys that are like on the cusp of wanting something a little more responsive, but like the TCB for whatever reason, like do you think you're going to see some of these guys that are in CBs actually transfer into these ones and like 7 through pitching wedge? Like if there was ever a blade that I think Xandro would like fling into, it would be something like
yeah.
this.
I think it's a little bit too long heel to toe for him. I think
Okay.
he still prefers the TCB, but I know something you don't know.
Is it something I'll find out in Chicago?
No, it's something you'll find out probably. Oh, you won't be in Chicago, or you won't
No.
be in Memphis.
Well,
So
don't do that.
your good buddy from Shuzhen.
Yeah. Oh
He
no, I know
he.
that. I know that.
Oh, you already talked to him.
No, but I talked to Dino and Sam was supposed to hit today. Did he hit
Yeah,
today?
loved him. Loved him.
Well, that's good
I
because his
mean,
iron stats are terrible.
well, that's you never know. He's in the FedEx Cup playoffs, Johnny.
Yeah, he
So he's doing
is.
something right.
But
He must be
I'm emotionally attached to that boy. So
right.
when he's not doing what I need him to do, I get pissed off
Yeah. Well,
because
he
he's
should
so
get.
good.
There's I mean there's room for everybody to, obviously this is going to lend itself into a classic looking CB at some point too, but
Yep.
I mean some would argue that, the X Forged right now are essentially the predecessors to this MB.
Right.
Um, I,
Yeah.
I I think that it could be, obviously the branding is completely different because it's X Forge versus the Apex line, but I feel like this is going to kind of just snowball itself into, a more, not so much premium, but maybe more classic looking line of Apex
Yeah.
that can be played from, remember just the standard Apex 19s or 21s that, I
Yeah.
mean, absolutely everybody loved.
Hell,
So
I played that iron for like 4 months. It was like funnest summer I've ever had in my life.
yeah,
Like it was
yeah.
amazing.
So I mean, you take that. I mean, you're taking club in its simplest form, and then you're expanding that whole kind of brand uh, to fit all these kind of handicap layers that you have.
Right.
And I think that's something that I mean, I'll give him a shout out. Ryan Ritchie does an amazing job. His
Yeah, he
feedback,
does.
when we give him feedback, he is dead on it. And that one time that Houston, when Minwoo won with the set, I mean, he was the happiest man in the world.
Right.
And yeah, man, dude, go out, have a drink. You did it. So it's
Oh, excuse me.
I think this only leads to bigger and better things. But obviously, like you said, I mean, there's been some hits and some misses in the past. But I mean, the best thing you can do is just learn from every one that you've gotten along the way. Um, and it's kind of weird that we're talking about this at length, because this only applies to, I mean, how many golfers in the United States? 100 million, maybe? Or is
No,
that too many?
how many golfers in the United States? 21
Yeah,
million. 20 million.
there you go. I said 20 million. I didn't say 100.
Yeah.
But I was doing it as 100 so I could give a percentage. Um, so if you say 20 million golfers, right?
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
talking about 3% of the golfers that are gonna get it. I mean, if that.
maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
and if 3% of them, I would guarantee that 2.75% of those people that are playing a blade iron are, playing for money, and they're 1099 at the end of every year.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
so
Do
it's like you're
you
not going to force yourself into a blade, but this is one that you could actually get on board with, even if you're not considering or you don't think you could play a blade.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's a weird gateway drug potentially into some players, some better players that are, that don't think they have the strike to play a blade consistently. Yeah, I can't wait to get mine, but like it's interesting, and I think a lot of that has to do with the sole design. I think the sole design on these things is really clever. People say it looks like a Strixon sole, but if you really know soles very well, it's not.
It's not close. It's
It's not
close, but it's
close.
not. It's not close.
If you took a picture of it, it's close. Like, it's like you could make an argument, but if you really look at it, if you look at it with a trained eye, it's not. It's like the bounce is in a completely different spot, and it's
Yeah.
it's just different. But the point I'm saying that is, do you think, like, when I see Callaway come out with a blade like that, and then I see like what they're doing with the Opus wedges, and th- the thing that kind of warms my heart is they're starting to kind of go back to classic club design. It's still technology packed, but a lot of the stuff that you guys are putting out now that I'm seeing, like, in early stages, it's very kind of back to like early, 2010, 2012, when you guys are making a lot of that classic. You had your game
X Force
improvement line for the
13.
masses, but your tour parts were classic. Like they were
Yeah.
bangers. Do you kind of agree with that? I mean, do you think that that's fair thing to say?
Yeah, and the funniest part about it it's coming from two of the younger guys. You know,
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
you throw Dean in there. Obviously, Dean has a lot to do with what the Opus line and all the other stuff that goes on in the iron world, and the wedge world. But I mean, Hans and Franz, Brian and Ryan.
yeah.
I mean, they're doing an incredible job of kind of listening to feedback, but yet taking it in a classic approach to modern golf, right?
Right.
It's just more simplistic, right? There's not as much kind of, don't have a good word here. There's not as much jumbled mess to it, right?
Well,
I
yeah,
mean, it's more of a,
I always call it the
there's no
white noise.
noise.
There's no noise. It's like you just made a
Cacophony,
golf
right?
club.
Is it
Yeah,
cacophony? Yeah. So
yeah,
they're just making golf clubs. They're just making golf clubs that work. So it's like, I mean, and that obviously, in the world that we live in, you wouldn't expect it from, the younger generation of people to go back to more of a classic look, but that's essentially what everybody gravitates towards. I
right.
mean, some of the other stuff that we've had in the past, and I mean, even I wouldn't say that the TCB isn't classic, but still, it's got the it's got that weight in the back. It's got the badges in the back, so it's kind of a little bit more of a futuristic feel to it.
I know, but that iron, but the thing
Right,
about
but
that. Go
at
ahead.
address, obviously, yeah, it looks like a classic traditional iron, right? But then you have kind of all of that interesting stuff
On the
going
back.
on. Yeah.
But so like if this actually takes us down another lane here. So of all the like my new coming out of the Callaway bubble and into this new gig, right? Like I've hit everything, right? I've seen it, have it at my house. I got it all, right? So the one thing I will say, and it's very unique to the TCB iron, which is kind of surprising because everybody on tour ranges and better players all want, we don't want a lot of offset, we don't want this and blah blah blah. And if you look at TCB, it's an iron with some bounce. It's got a lot of offset. Like if you set the 8 iron down, it's got more offset than any player's iron on the market. Short heel to toe, so it literally is the opposite of everything else that's out there. It's very specific. I've always looked at that iron, like for me personally, like that's you're growing up as a Ping I2 DCI player. Like that's to me is like when I set an iron down, like that's what a great player's irons look like. So how in your opinion, like what is it about that iron that's done so incredibly well with the staff? I mean, because it doesn't fit the narrative, meaning it doesn't fit like the because you guys brought out Apex CB, and that was supposed to be like your more classic, less offset, longer heel to toe. But everybody kept going back to these TCB. So, what specifically, in your opinion, is about that TCB iron? Like, what is it about that thing?
It's just, I mean, it just, I mean, sometimes you just look down at something and you expect something, and then when you hit the club, it just does that something that you want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, obviously we made a little bit of an improvement between 21 and 24 with kind of our spin windows.
Right.
Um, Obviously, the
This new one spins a little bit more, right?
uh,
Ish.
ish, depending on
Yeah.
like obviously player to player stuff is always connected in that, but I would say that it spins more consistently than the first iteration, and obviously, like we talked about before, right? You miss on maybe a couple things, or there's just a couple things that are just need a little bit more tweaking, and then uh, you get more buttoned up as you go along and try to kind of more innovation towards that iron.
Right.
I think that we changed some stuff with the soul and the bounces in the 24, and I think that's why it was the easiest transition for some of these players to go straight to the 24.
Yeah. I mean,
Like a
Rombo,
Sam,
Xander,
Rom,
Sam, all those
Xander,
guys
yeah.
flipped quick. Yeah. Didn't
But then
take
you
long.
also have kind of the detractors, not detractors, but the guys that just didn't find it as appealing as the
Like it,
21, right?
like Emmy.
Yeah. So that,
Yeah.
well,
Hadwin.
Emmy and Kevin Yu and Hadwin, these are great ball strikers too, but to a point, like, well, the 21 works.
Right.
And you're like, okay,
Okay.
yeah, perfect. Yeah, go play golf.
So
Um,
let's really quick. 'Cause I don't want to keep you forever, but there's a
Dude,
couple of because you're responsible for the people that didn't hear Kellen on the first time I had him on. So your responsibility, if I was going to create a business card for you, you're responsible for, we'll call it the alphas of the Callaway staff. I mean, you got Rom, you got Xander, you got Min, you got Sam. Your responsibilities are the big ticket items, and every truck has their guy that deals with the top half of the staff, right? So
did we get rid
working.
of did we get rid of male model as that first thing on
No,
my
yeah,
business
yeah,
card?
no,
Or
I didn't know
no?
because this. I'm trying to keep this clean. Yeah, that's for the OnlyFans podcast. Um,
Only
the
dads.
but the testing process that I've always seen with those guys is I don't want to say it's different than what you would do with the rest of the staff, but there is uh, a strategy difference between the two groups of players, right? So talk me through like if we're coming into November. And again, I already know this. I've been inside it. I've seen it a million times, but the listeners don't know this. But walk them through like if we're going into next year and say for example you have prototype heads that you're going to hit with, you got Rombo, you're going to go Silverleaf, start testing. Walk everybody through the process of like landing and finally getting to January
Are you talking what in terms of what, though? Are you talking metal woods? You talking irons?
It's the
Because
same.
irons.
Just stick to the driver. Like you get a driver coming out. Like you got the heads. Like now you got to go test with this
Yeah.
guy. What does it look like to get him get him ready for the next year with a driver?
Yeah, I mean, so it's options, right? We're gonna have options. We're probably gonna have, for us, it'll probably be like 3 different models. Um, for John in particular, it's gonna be I'm gonna look at him and say, "This is it."
Right.
Right? I'm not gonna go with the other 2 options. I'm not gonna bring him with me. He's gonna be like, "What the hell is this? What do you think I'm that bad at golf that I need to hit this thing?"
Right.
So I'm just going to skip past that part, and just I usually only bring him 2 heads. It's just 2 heads. Same
Right.
loft, same everything. Try to get same CG, everything, just everything set up.
When you say same CG though, you're saying same CG. So like when you go from product to product, so if you're going from Epic Speed to Rogue, you're matching CGs to the previous year. Or is it because obviously the head design's changing, right? So are you trying to still get everything as close to his current gamer as humanly possible? Or are you taking this new idea and just matching the head weights, weight placement? Like how do you do that?
No, I'm trying to me personally, I'm trying to make the new driver match his Rogue ST Triple
LS.
Diamond LS,
Yes. Okay.
which, I think in the well, to me, in literally the history of golf, I think he had one of the best driving years ever.
Yeah.
Um, so everything kind of compares to that, or I
Yep.
do. At least I do it, right?
Well, it
Um,
would to him too because he's always said that that was the best he's ever driven. The ball was in
yeah,
CG Frontier. Yeah.
and then essentially, I probably won't see him before I do a bunch of stuff with other people, and
Okay.
I'm not using them as kind of like lab rats or anything, but I'm getting more familiar with what other people are seeing, and
Okay.
then trying to relate it to what he would do. Right?
Okay.
So I'm looking at what player A is doing, and player A may hit a just a sweeping draw. Player B, I'm watching him. He might hit just a low bullet straight shot.
Okay.
Player C might be a 2 yard cut, right? So, and then player D might be like a just a push, aim left, push it. So I'm trying to figure out how these things are working. Yeah, like I'm trying to figure out how these things are working for them, and then kind of calculating in my head what needs to be done, what loft needs to be set. Does it need to be more loft than last year? Does it need to be less loft than last year? I'm kind of doing all of that calculations in the head
Right.
just to figure out, because I'm only going to bring them 2 heads. I
Okay.
mean, it's kind of worthless to bring like a bunch of different options, because if the first one doesn't work and the first shot's not good, then it's getting thrown back at me.
Right.
Um, so just getting everything buttoned up to a point where I know that it should first shot be exactly the right pattern.
Right.
And like we've talked about before, I don't care if there's a quad or a trackman on the ground. The first shot is always about just patterns, because we're going to try to continue to satisfy his love of the way that the club looks in general. So I'm obviously not going to bring him something that looks terrible,
Right.
but we just need to figure out the pattern first. If the pattern is, just a pull cut that looks like it is kind of, it still has energy after its apex and kind of flattens out and kind of goes, then we've done our job,
Okay.
and we've gotten it correct. So that is kind of the first thing. Like you learn so much from other guys. Um, and
Who?
John kind of affords himself, and he affords me the opportunity, because he never wants to test anything until the season's over. If I
Right.
can't play it right now, then don't show it to me.
I've been there for that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't mind that at all. So, but you were going to
If
ask who?
Yeah, so if you were going to, because I kind of put you can kind of put a lot of these players, especially on the Callaway staff, and I can speak to them just because I know that staff so well. But like On that staff, there isn't anybody that really has the same characteristics ball flight wise that Rombo does. Like, he's the only real hard cutter that we had on staff. That's,
Hmm.
because the rest of them to me were all straight balls or they're actually, he was the only true cutter we really had on the staff. I mean, Kevin Yu doesn't have it. I mean, Xander's a straight,
Uh,
he kind of
Gra-
draws it a little bit,
Grazerman's got kind of a
but not the
he's
same
got-
as Rombo though. Like not
right.
that
No,
hard. Not
not aggressive.
the closest would be probably would be Burns would be the closest ball
Yeah,
flight wise start. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and they
So
need the same loft too.
and when Kellen's talking about loft, you're talking about like 11 degrees of loft. Like he plays with a lot of loft,
I
right?
think Sam's at like 10, 10 4, 10 6, and John's at like 10 5, 10 7 ish.
So I guess
Um,
the
Same
next
golf ball too. They have the same golf ball. So I mean, it's a big
yeah.
opportunity to see. And even if I don't see Sam, I can still kind of base a lot of the stuff from other people. Like I just don't know. I don't know how it like goes through my head on some of this stuff. But even if I saw like a Kevin, you hit driver,
Right.
I'd be like, ah, interesting. So okay, this is what I need to do for John. And Kevin's going to try to hit a draw 1,000% of the time.
Well,
Even like ignore it too.
with Rombo though too is he's got three shots essentially with the driver. He's got his stock cutter, he's got his bomb cutter, and then he's got that big tomahawk thing he hits out there when he's trying to hit it. He doesn't do the fairway finder thing. He doesn't do the tee it low, squeezy
No,
one.
no, he can do that from normal tee height. So
Right,
that's
but that's
just
not like a
that's just windows. Yeah,
but
I
that
mean, he can do that automatically.
but for some players, those are shots you have to take into consideration when you're fitting them on driver because some of those guys will go down and tee it low and try to squeeze it out there. You have to make sure the driver has that in it because the center of gravity is above the ball now. Everything changes, right? So, but with
Hmm.
Rombo's specifically, you don't have to do that because he didn't hit that one that's
Well, he
barely off
can.
the
He
ground.
just it's not. I mean, it's not the preferred one. So it's not like it. The only thing that I would ask him to hit would be try to hit the stock hard, the hard cut, which is trying to hit just like swing out of your shoes and see what it does.
Right,
Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more aim left, and it's going to slide a little bit more. And then the draw is the last one, and that I mean that's like 2, 3, 4, 5 shots, and
right.
that's way too many draws for him. But if he can see it draw, obviously he likes to see because the ball speed goes up.
Oh, of
Um,
course.
so he pumps himself up. So it's nice. It's I mean, but you can learn a lot even from like the drawlers of the ball about a new head just to see what would happen with a guy that would cut it. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know
Well,
how
if you
I understand it.
it's funny that you say this. So, like, if you take I don't know, take somebody like Chris Kirk, Adam Hadwin, some of those are natural drawers of the golf ball, essentially. And what I've always seen is that the drivers work. If we have a driver, if Callaway has a driver head that retains spin on a draw, typically that means when the cutters are going to like it too because they're going to be able to aim left and the ball's going to have enough you know spin or whatever the hell you want to call it to cut back to the left. It's I've always found with all the drivers that we've ever had, when the guys that draw it can't keep it in the air, the guys that hit the other way are going to struggle too. And
Yeah.
that's when you guys have a problem because that was the first time I ever heard on a driving range when we were talking about getting new heads, and I think it was like could have been Rogue. Maybe it was just a specific head with Rogue, but the triple diamonds have a right bias to them, right? Like is that I don't know if it's still the case, but they always had a little bit of right bias to them. For you as a fitter, would you prefer to have any bias built into a driver? Does it make your job easier if there's bias to a driver? Do you just want them to stay straight, and then you can make them go left or right
I
on
mean,
your own?
that would be perfect world would be everything would be completely neutral.
Right.
I mean,
But is that
that's
not possible? Is that not possible? Can I mean if R&D sends you a bunch of heads for the 26 season. They say, hey guys, the center of gravity on this thing is dead neutral. And testing, these things just go straight. It's your job to get them to go the other way.
sure.
You guys would be the happiest people on the planet.
Yeah, 1,000%.
So why don't they just do that? Is that the $1 million question? Okay, moving on.
Well, no, I want to say something about that too because that's a good point. Like if you were to, I mean, you could kind of take the wedges out of it. you can take the irons out of it, right? Because you're creating so many more different shots, and there's
Well, you're
way
interacting with the turf too. It's different,
yeah,
different
there's way
animal.
more
Yeah.
variables to it. But I mean, I feel like every year that I ask, it's like, what would you like in a 3 wood? I'll be like, just very neutral, and then I want it to go as high as humanly possible with the right amount of spin. So if you started there, right, I don't need a bias either way. I
Right.
just need it neutral, right?
Right.
And so if if essentially we get a prototype that misses that parameter, maybe just by slightly, I would rather it be a drawing 3 wood
Right.
because it's easier to make a drawing 3 wood cut than it would be a cutting 3 wood
The
draw,
draw. Yeah.
right? So it'd be the same thing with a driver. I would want neutrality to the nth degree. And then if there needs to be a bias to it, I would rather it draw than it would cut because it's so much harder to make a fade bias driver draw than it would be a draw bias driver cut.
Yeah. Okay. So
It's just an easier way to it's an easier way to go.
two topics left, and we'll get you out of here. So, and you're gonna have we're gonna talk about other stuff out there, stuff that you admire. So, like, if you are a rep and you're on tour and you see other products, is there any product out there that you see that's not Callaway that you're like, oh, that's a cool 3 wood, or that's a cool driver? Like, is it like what is there things out there that kind of catch your eye that you're seeing that other players have in their bags? Like, that's a cool idea, or that's a cool thought. Like, what do you see out there just as a rep, just as a golf fan? Like, what other stuff do you admire, I guess, out there?
1,000%. I mean, there's so many things. I mean, some of our staffers have other clubs in their bag,
Right.
like, and I mean, I can continue to chop the tree. It's like chopping a sequoia down sometimes.
Right.
Like in terms of like, take Chris Kirk came back to us after being away for like 5 years, 6 years, whatever,
Right.
and he had stealth 3 wood, 5 wood.
Great hits. That's a nice
Yeah, I
piece.
mean,
It's
it's
a nice
like,
piece.
I mean, like, what am I gonna? There's, I can do so much. I really, I'm not. I'm confident in myself. I'm not arrogant about it. I am not cocky about it. I'm confident in myself. But at some point, um, I usually, there's a practice of humility when it comes to some of this stuff.
Yeah, some
It's
products
like,
just great.
dude,
Yeah.
yeah. And then at some point, like, you continue going down this road of, like, you've tried every option we have. We've gone to a 4 wood, you gone to a 7 wood to replace a 3 and a 5, but then he just takes whatever it is that may be in the bag, and he launches the 3 wood, it just spins the same, and there's 8 shots that landed on a picnic blanket. It's
Right.
like, great, go play golf. I
Right.
can't do anything. I'm sorry. There's
Well,
just some of those.
I think that that's great though. Like, I think that, like, obviously if you work for a golf club company, I experienced this when I was at Callaway, you want all your guys in 14 clubs and a ball and this and that. But I feel like most of the reps out on tour, if a player is just playing good with somebody else's product, it is what it is. Like, what are you going to do? Like, because essentially you want them to play well, but you got to try, obviously, to swap that product out. But at the end of the day, like, if the player's going to go out and play better with what they have in their bag this week, that's just what they're going to do. Like, that's why I feel like you see, it's not just unique to Callaway staffs, but you see, going from bag to bag, you see a ton of TaylorMade fairway woods in bags. You see a lot of Oki wedges in bags. Um,
Those
specifically though,
2 liters in the count every week,
yeah,
right?
specifically those two.
Yeah.
As far as like niche items, those are the ones that tend to sneak into the most bags. And I guess the third one would be like, the GT3 driver sneaks into a lot of bags, a lot of non-staff bags, a lot of, GT2s and threes. So, like, when you're seeing stuff like that, just as a golf club junkie, like, do you admire like a Titleist GT2 driver? Do you see that and go, that's a cool piece of tech, like, that's an interesting driver, like, yeah?
Yeah.
Or do you
I
not
mean,
pay
why
attention
wouldn't?
to it?
No, I
But
pay
some reps
attention to
don't pay
all of it.
attention to it. Some reps have tunnel vision. Like, I don't even realize that stuff exists. I'm just worried about my product. But
Well, that's
you're
dumb.
obviously not. Huh?
That's dumb.
Oh, I'm just telling you.
I mean, if you just sat there and looked at your own stuff the whole time, what would you learn?
Well, nothing. You won't
There you
learn
go.
anything. Um,
I mean, we live in a world where everything looks like a ping putter.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it does.
I mean, if I'm not gonna, I mean, if I'm not gonna, I want to know what every other club does out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm gonna be the one that's referencing. Good Lord, why can't I say that? Referencing,
Referencing.
yeah,
Yeah, you got it. There
what
you
is
go.
working on tour and what's not working on tour. I should know everything about everything. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I try to pride myself on trying to know exactly what everybody's stuff does. I
Right.
mean, if you're not doing that, then you're not giving the correct feedback to your R&D engineers.
Well, the hard part now, though, I will say, especially now getting out into the street a little bit, a lot of the stuff's pretty damn close. Like there is not one, and I can say this confidently, there's no more alpha males in amongst the top 5 or 6 big companies out there that are making product. There's not like that one alpha male, alpha person company that just does everything better than everybody else does. It just everybody's stuff is really good
Yeah.
across the line. Some companies have golf balls, some don't. But like if you test Titleist golf ball versus Callaway golf ball versus Bridgestone, like are the numbers? They're all pretty damn close. Like, and
Hmm.
it just kind of depends on the day and where you're hitting it from, and so it literally is down to. And I've said this to people, it's kind of like music. If you like Rush, then that's your band, and it's hard to say that Rush is you're not going to say Rush is better than AC/DC. If AC/DC is the kind of music you like, then that's what you're going to play. But they're both pretty fucking great.
Yeah, and I think that's probably lends itself to where my music variety is.
Yeah, it's
Um,
from like Disney tunes to Marilyn Manson.
that's pretty damn close.
It's pretty
But
well. Trust me,
when you get that like Spotify thing at the end of the year, it's like I think last year I listened to 384 different genres of music, and I didn't even
yeah,
know
you
there was
did.
like 380 genres of music. I
Was
mean,
like
I
is
go,
it Christian rock to like?
oh yeah, dude, Forrest Frank to like
Yeah, dude.
Twiddle to like Fish to like Grateful Dead and Company to
Yeah,
uh,
like Celine Dion
Thomas.
Christmas album to
Oh, dude,
yeah,
Ariana
dude.
Grande Christmas album. Give me a little Kelly Clarkson around the
Yeah.
tree at Christmas. And then give
Uh,
me like Thomas Dietrich's boy, Lost Frequencies, that he
is that
said it
his,
on.
is that his friend, or is that just a
No, dude,
band
he
that he
grew up
likes?
with him. He grew up with
What?
him. Yeah,
Did he really?
the kid's a Belgian kid.
I couldn't figure that out. I was like,
Yeah,
where is this
and
coming
he's
from?
got that song with Callum Scott.
Yeah,
Where are
dude,
they
it's
now? Oh,
lit. Yeah, it's
banger,
unbelievable. I didn't know Tommy
complete
Dietrich
banger.
knew those guys.
Yeah, but I'll do all that, dude. Rhythm as a Dancer, 7-inch single EP. Give that to me on my Spotify. But then you
Oh,
can go, I mean, anywhere else. I'm going to go to Jurassic 5 and back to, George Strait, go to Garth Brooks, go to,
wow.
yeah, dude, I'm all over the place.
Wow.
Throw a
Well,
little,
for the folks that you are all over the place, and that's why I love you so much. But like, yeah,
yeah,
you're
it's tough.
you're
But I mean,
you're a crazy person.
when it comes to it, like, I mean, yeah, if I wasn't admiring everybody else's stuff, I wouldn't be doing my job, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're watching people hit shots, and does it look different than what we have, right?
Right.
It's tough to kind of peg what is better than the next. I would say if you were to look at things like iron wise, everything is preference on aesthetics and
Yep.
bounces and
Turf interaction. Yeah.
rolls, right? So you can pretty much kind of take that leaderboard, and there really isn't a 1 through 10. It's just kind of a
No, it's
1,
level set. Yeah.
right? And then you get to a point where it's like wedges, and it's essentially just Cleveland, our stuff, and
Ping and
vocal
Vokey.
and
Yeah.
paint.
Yeah.
Um, well, and then TaylorMade's got the new one
Oh,
that's supposed.
TaylorMade. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, TaylorMade's got good wedges. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
so
new
kind
ones are
of
good.
gone are the days of like, because I mean, I remember when it was, you had your own, everybody had their own set of irons essentially.
Right.
And then like there wasn't too many wedges to compete,
No,
right?
there's
Everybody
Vokey. It
seemed
was
like the
Vokey in
same.
Cleveland for years.
Yeah, and that was it. And then it's like the biggest thing was probably at the time is there's more fairway woods to use and more
Right.
hybrids to use back in the old days than there were now
Yeah,
that
because
everybody's catching up to what to what Adams did and Sonar Tech
Sonar
and
Tech, dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like and
14.
Torres. I mean, Torres had a presence.
Yep.
So it's like what yeah, I'm gonna admire everything that's there,
Okay,
right?
so name one for me, like so non-Callaway stuff. Like what driver that you see out on a PGA Tour like range right now? Are you like that's a like I would like to try. I would that one piques my interest. Like what would name one that you like?
That would probably be what's this? The GT3,
GT3. Okay.
and then like the Ping
440.
G440.
Yep. It's a good
Like these
head.
are some of the stuff that I've hit when I, had like a little hiatus from tour, and I went and worked on the Corn Ferry Tour for the PGA Tour. I mean, Housey sent me like drivers and 3 woods and 5 woods right away, and I'm like,
Right.
gosh, this 3 wood and 5 wood is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. And then David Bray gave me a Ping driver. I'm like, dude, it's not like it's an emancipation from like one company, but it's getting used to what else is around you at the time.
Yeah. Which was the hardest part for me to get used to when I get into this new job, trying all the new stuff, because you do get you do I don't want to say trapped, but you get used to um and I
You
was
get
trying to build out a bag. I had to put all my Callaway stuff in the garage. I literally had to put it like just put it in the garage. Like I would compare everything to my stuff. And it was like,
right.
this is cool, but my Callaway does this one, or this one's nice, but the TCBs do this. So for the rest of the year, I'm like, I have to pretend that it doesn't exist. So because I was not giving anything a fair shake,
Well,
even
it's
if it
like
was
you're just the guy in the crowd that's got his phone videoing Rory's swing or something. Look, just be there, be present. Everything's around you, right?
yes,
Like if you got tunnel vision because you work for one company, then I mean, it's like you're looking at a bird in binoculars while you're sitting on the rim of the Grand Canyon. Like just open up your eyes, dude,
that's
and catch
interesting. Wait
everything
a
that's
Kellen,
around you.
wait a second. That was nice. That
Well,
was
I
nice.
serious.
That
It's
was
like
nice.
if you're going to learn anything and see what happens, because essentially you're going to watch a guy that might be a non-staffer hit whatever he's got at the time, right?
Right.
So you're going to see how that shaft interacts with whatever head he has at the time. If
That's
he
where it
comes
gets
to you,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, but if he comes to you and says, "Hey, can I try this? This is the shaft I use." There might be a chance that I say, "Listen, well, there's a little bit different CG here. You have a little bit different this. Let's not go with this shaft. Maybe tip it a little bit different. Their
Right.
insertion depth is this. Their cog goes through the bore a little bit further than
Ours
ours.
is not. Yeah.
Yeah, let's kind of think this through just to see what we can do to kind of either make it play the same or make it even play better,
Right.
right? If you prefer the look of ours, but you're getting the performance of this, then let's get that performance to a point. Let's kind of break it down. So why wouldn't you watch everybody else and see what they're doing?
Right.
There's a lot you can learn.
Last question for you, and then I'll let you go. I'm of the opinion that drivers, especially like the platforms, like the better player platforms for drivers, like out in the retail market, like TaylorMade has LS, Titleist has the 3 Series, we have Triple Diamond, or Callaway. I don't work there anymore. Triple Diamond has for Callaway, LST for for Ping. I I'm of the opinion that the disparity between your retail models, your core models, and your tour drivers it's getting closer and closer and closer. And I think it's more the tour drivers are starting to spin more, and the retail versions of the core models are starting to spin less. So they're starting to get to almost to the point where you wouldn't really need two different drivers, besides the fact that they're going to look different to the player's eye. But don't
Yeah,
you think that that's kind of happening? But I feel like it's happening on purpose. I feel like the low spin thing is kind of going by the wayside. And now better players, the faster they get, the more spin that they want, the more control that they want. Do you think that that's like a fair statement, or is that off the reservation?
yeah. I mean, I thought that. Well, I think most of the stuff most of the stuff that we use on tour should be. I think it's sold in stores anyway.
Yeah, most of it. Yeah,
I don't think it's gone are the days of like TP version stuff, right?
that
Obviously,
stuff was so awesome though. The TP stuff is so awesome.
yeah, but it's like, yeah, no, yeah, it's like something you can't get. And then
Right.
it was like, yeah, it's just like, okay.
Well,
So I don't
everything
know.
everything in play right now on tour, with the exception of maybe like a 2 or 3 different drivers, like Nico Højgaard's got that Triple Diamond Plus from last year, that one with no weight up front. Like you don't see a lot of tour only heads in play anymore. It's all Triple Diamond, core model, TD Max,
No, and then people that buy like tour certified heads just because it's certified to be on tour,
right?
and they buy it for like an exorbitant amount of money on eBay. It's pretty
You're
dumb.
not you're not getting it. You're not getting anything. Yeah.
I
You're
mean, you're not
actually
getting much.
if you buy it, if you buy it a tour driver and it's brand new versus a retail model, the retail model is faster right out of the Schneider anyway, because the tour heads,
1,000%.
yeah.
Yeah, we have more limitations of what we can do. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, essentially, what you were to do, like, so if I had, and I hope this is true, and I'm not sure if it is because, me being an outdoor cat, I don't really, I don't understand some of the consumer stuff sometimes. It kind of just is like blocked in my brain as like, oh, they must get the same shit as we do, but
Right.
obviously that's not true. I think essentially the only big difference between getting like a triple diamond at like a PGA Superstore and getting one off the trailer is that I can give you more than just two weight options, right? So I think
Well, your heads are the tour heads are weight sorted. So like if you buy it from a store, the
you get like a 14 and a 2, right?
Right, but the difference in loft, so like if you show up to a Golf Galaxy and there's 9 triple diamonds, like say 9 9-degree triple diamonds, they're all going to be 8.9 and 9.1 in loft. They're going to be somewhere in that, where the tour heads that you guys get, you guys will get a 9-degree heads and you'll get them anywhere from 8.4 to 9.3. So
Hmm.
you guys have a wider range of loft options at the loft number, so you can dial it in, face angles, do all the stuff that you would need to do. So when they say weight sorted, they'll say, well, they're sorted so they're more accurate. They're actually not. The retail heads that go to the stores actually have a tighter tolerance to stick to the stated loft than the tour heads do.
Okay, I never thought I'd see the day where you teach me something.
That's what I was told, and that's good. But if you think about it, it makes logical sense, because
Yeah, no,
like
absolutely.
you're
Yeah,
not going to
you're not
you
going to be
can't
able to
do
stray too far from what the stated loft is
no,
because
but
people actually think that it's 9 degrees.
on tour you want to be able to open a drawer and go, this guy plays an 8.5 driver, but he likes the way his face looks, and I don't want to have to open it, so I need something in that realm, and that's
Oh, yeah, I like that. All right, I
well,
got
there
it.
you
But I
go.
thought they only had like two weight options in the bottom.
They do. They have a 14 and a 2, but you can also go
Yeah,
get
but
custom fit and you can get whatever you want. But yeah, that's another variable that you can, that at a retail store, if you buy one, you can either take the 14-gram weight and move it front, or it just depends on the driver or what year it is. But
yeah,
other than that, and the cogs, I mean, on tour, you guys got all these. You guys, that's the other thing you guys. I will say that Callaway does amazingly, is the cog, the flat cog, and the phase progression cog, and the strong cog. Like that's a pretty nice widget, a nice lever to have, which is
yeah, but
I think it's a pretty big advantage over a lot of people. Um,
yeah, there's a lot of people that like that. A lot of people that'll come in and just want to like see the trailer and they'll be like, "You have one of those strong cogs," and you're like, "No, you don't need that."
the one that I love the most, though, is I got it from when I was in UK, was that the tungsten, is it tungsten cog? Have you seen that one
Yeah,
before, from Japan? I built a driver one of those just to do it. It's the coolest thing ever. Um,
yeah, but it's got to feel, it feels incredibly different.
well, it does, because you have it's 12, it's a 12-gram cog. I mean, it's like it's,
Yeah,
and then you put,
you got to
if
like
you want to,
seriously.
if you want to hit it left, it's an amazing cog.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then I mean, you got to. I mean, fixed essentially that A arm's getting is all screwed up because you have so much weight there. We
Yeah,
had that before. We've had that before. We had that with Razor Fit Extreme. We had one of those.
that really light head that you guys used to, it wasn't that a really light head.
No, it was the black and green one that had two weights. But I remember Trevor Immelman when he was on staff. Saj was his caddy at the time. He had a tungsten cog. It's crazy.
It's awesome. It's amazing.
That's different. I
I
mean,
don't use that driver, but looks really cool sitting in my basement. It's a
that's
random cog. Kellen, I'm gonna let you go. This would be the longest episode I think I've ever done, an hour and 15 minutes. I love you, pal. You're the best. Thank you for
Love
coming
you
on the
too.
show. You're the best.
Yeah, whatever you need. I missed 2 calls from Johnny Thompson now. I'm gonna have to call him back.
You better call him back.
Sorry, Johnny Thunder, as he followed you into the realm of PGA Tour content or tour content.
Yeah, he's working hard. He's doing his thing.
Johnny Thompson has become Johnny Thunder. So
He's doing his thing. Thanks, Kel.
anytime.
All right. That's Fully Equipped, episode 296.